small thing before we begin that I forgot to mention before. File types for this project. Video is best as MP4 files. Audio is best as MP3s or waves. When it comes to transparent images, PNG is your go-to. Make sure when you're finding images that when you find them, there isn't checkerboard behind it at first, especially on Google Images. You'll like see an image from a distance because they're all like lined up next to each other. Click on the ones that are white background, and when they load up, if they become checkerboard, they're transparent. JPEGs, stay away from them because they are low quality. Enjoy the video. All right. Hello everybody, my name is Exploding Jellyfish and welcome to Adobe Premiere Pro. This is a program for editing videos, and a lot of videos out there that teach you how to use Premiere Pro are very too detailed, I feel, because when I'm getting into a program, I don't want to know all the tiny little things. I want to know the absolute foundation of what I'm trying to do. So that's what I'm here to do today. I, as a YouTuber, and well, I say as a YouTuber, but I haven't uploaded in months. Hi, I'm alive. I, as someone who uses this program a lot for both school projects, that was in college and in high school, and YouTube, and sometimes uses it for friends as well. I'm gonna show you what I do the most when making a video. So I'm gonna start by showing you just an example video that I made. So I'm just gonna walk you through. Right at the start, you're gonna open up Premiere Pro. This should look generally the same. If it doesn't look the same, there's probably a new project button on the upper left. I run on 2017 because that runs best on my computer, and I like 2017. So I just open it up and I'm like, got my video ready. I'm gonna hit new project, and right off the bat, all I do. These settings are all here by default, I believe, and all I do is I name it the project. So Minecraft example, and I just hit OK. I name it, I hit OK, and bam. It was supposed to be really cool. I say bam, and then it shows up, and it took a while. Bam, here is your setup. This might look a little different. You might have more tabs down here. But again, if there are too many tabs, I suggest having source effect controls up here. The other ones you can right click and hit close panel to remove them. And if you accidentally remove one already, you can go to window and bring it back, and you can just kind of drag them around wherever you like. So I keep source effect controls, project effects, and history. So history is just like showing the actions you've made. If I do something and I control Z, it goes up in the history, and you can just jump back. Effects is all where you have video effects, like there is my favorite I call Ultra Key. This is essentially your green screen. You drag it onto a video, click a color picker, and click the green screen background, and it's gone. So it's like alpha keyed out. So just showing you why I use these. Project, this is just where you put all your files. This is where everything goes. So let's start by grabbing this video. So I just made this video, and I'm just going to toss it in here. And it's going to import. So now that it's in, you can see a little blue bar button down here on the right. That's processing it to import it in, and you're just gonna have to wait on that. And because it will be lower video quality, if not very low or no audio quality while it's still loading. But now that it's loaded up, you can double click it to show it in the source editor. This is just the base video. You can listen to it and hear it, and much time. You can see my voice sounds weird because I record 4 channels. This is for voice, the game, and then both at the same time, because when streaming, both audio channels happen at the same time, but when recording, I need to adjust each of the volumes individually. So usually you're just gonna have 2 bars, but or usually you're gonna have 1 bar. Everything's recorded on the same channel. So for now, just to get this started, I don't have a timeline. A lot of tutorials will tell you to make one from scratch, but because I record in a default screen size of 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720, I believe, I just grab this, just click and drag from the screen over to the timeline, bam. It creates the timeline for you, and it is automatically adjusted to the size of the video you've recorded. So usually, if you have a recording of your stream, it will usually be a multiplication factor of this, like 1280 by 720 or 1920 by 1080. Usually it's 1280 by 720 when it's like downloading streams. So again, this is just like, you shouldn't have these two bars if you just record a normal video. This is just because of me. And so yeah, so you should have one video track and one audio track. The audio track is all the audio at once. And immediately I'll get to work by just playing the video from the top and see when I need to cut it on. How's it going, everybody? This is Exploding Jellyfish, here to play Minecraft for an example for Premiere Pro. How's it going, me? How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you? Very nice. Let's get in here. We're just gonna start a new world. Hey, what do you what difficulty do you think we should do? Oh, hardcore for sure. Hardcore? Yeah, man. Are you do it. Sure? Yeah, absolutely. Dude, do it on the amplified world. Amplified. Yes. No, man. Yes, man. Fine. And name it Dingus. Dingus. Dingus is the name? Okay. Yeah, Dingus is the name, dude. Is that what we're doing? Okay, cool. Yeah, create it. Real mature, you. Let's start. Yep, that's me. Get into it. Come on. And, now we have to wait. And, we're going to have to show, simple cuts at first. So, yeah. Right now I'm on this loading screen. And we just need to make a cut to get to when it's loaded. Yeah. So all I need to do now, as I just said, is we need to make a cut. So this is one of the most important things in Premiere Pro. So again, make sure you click on the timeline. You can use the scroll wheel to my bad. Hold down the left Alt button and then use your scroll wheel to scroll in and out. Or I believe you can grab these handles and do it manually. I usually use the left Alt button in the scroll wheel. And I'll zoom in so that way I can see this bit, and we see all this video of it just loading up. So I'm just going to use the I. This is the in key, I for in, and O key. Using both, out O is for out. Using I and O makes a single point. You can see the little blue line here. It makes a single point on the timeline, and using that, you can use the apostrophe key to make a cut. So essentially, say I wanted to delete something, I could use the in, pressing I, and then scroll down a bit and press O to press the out, and I could delete that section. But using the delete key and Control Z to undo, I don't want to do that right now. So I've made a cut right here, and then I'm going to come down here. Thank you very much for that. So where he starts talking, and I'm going to hit I and O again, and hit the apostrophe once more to cut it. And then I select the extra clip and delete. And again, you can do what I said earlier. This is just how I like to do it. You can just hit I here and O here and delete it, and then just drag the rest over. And by the way, if your program is not automatically snapping like this, where you see where it snaps to the image, you're going to want to click this little magnet right here. That is what will snap it to your little cursor, and it is what will snap it to other clips to make sure they're perfectly lined up. Or if you want to make really fine adjustments, say I want to zoom in here and move it like a couple frames, I can turn off the magnet and just move it just a couple frames, and you see just a little black blink. But I usually keep that on unless it's very specific situations where I am changing something. So I just snap that to it, and and also see, I made this clip too small. There's a lot of open space in here. You can click on a clip and you'll see this little marker. Make sure you're on the cursor tool, the selection tool, and you'll see this little red cursor when you get near the edge. And if it's going left, it will change. If you click and drag, it will change the size of that clip. You can cut it like this as well. So when you make so again, let's go back real quick. So we have this clip, right? I could just as easily come here, I and O, apostrophe, and then I could use this to roll it back. But again, this is a little, this isn't as good as, just like selecting it and deleting it. It's slower, but it's just another way you can do it, whatever is comfortable for you. So again, after making the initial cut, there's a little extra space, so I am going to roll it back just a little bit, just so there's less blank time in there. And we're gonna hit space to let it load. Thank you very much for that cut. I appreciate that. That saves so much time. And we're finally in the world, spawning next to some trees. And I'm going to collect some wood real quick. All right. But it's going to take a couple minutes. So why don't you show them how to speed it up? Just do some quick speed ups, just to get things along. Or, yeah. So, you guys just chill for a minute. Exploding Jellyfish here is going to speed up the footage, and I'll be right back afterwards. All right, and I got you guys on that. So, here is how you speed up footage. So, you see there's all this time where I'm just running around, cutting trees. We're going to make 2 cuts. So, after this, we're going to pause, I and O, and then apostrophe to make a cut. And there's all this footage where I'm just silently cutting down trees and getting wood. I come to the end, and then again, I, O, apostrophe to cut. So this is when we're going to get into a different tool. There is a tool right here that is called the Ripple Edit tool. That's not what we're using. We're going to click and hold on it, and you'll see the Rate Stretch tool. You're going to click and hold and drag your mouse over and then let go on the Rate tool. And then simply, you're going to do the same thing as you did with the Selection tool. But instead of actually cutting the footage off, it is speeding it up. It is stretching it, or squashing it, if you will. So we're going to squash this down into just like a few seconds. And then we're going to go back to the Selection tool and move the clip over. And again, this will take some fine tuning. I don't know how long this actually is. Oh, and again, if it ever gets laggy like this is perfectly normal for doing sped up footage like this. A good way to do this is I and O over the footage, and I believe I think it's sequence, render effects into out. As you can see, using render effects into out will make it run a lot smoother. So that's how you just do that. So we just sped it up really fast, so that way we didn't have to wait through it all. And now he has all the wood. All right, we got ourselves 21 pieces of wood. I want to go up there, and this will be a nice example of zooming in and moving artifacts across the screen, or rather like components or scene components, if that makes sense. Exactly. So I decided I wanted to go somewhere up there. So we're gonna do this by, again, taking a clip. Well, let's go to where I say up there, and okay, so he says up there right around here. So we're just going to do I-O, again, making a cut with the apostrophe key, and play up there. And this will be a nice example of zooming in. This is where it comes into personal preference. It's how much you want them to see. So like, I want the camera to linger up there for a little while. So we're zooming in for a few seconds while I'm talking. And then when we find a comfortable place, we're going to zoom back out. So we're just going to continue playing until we get to a comfortable space and moving artifacts across the screen. Or let me actually find. And this will be a nice example of zooming in and moving artifacts across the screen, or rather like components or scene components, if that makes sense. Okay, so we found a comfortable place to stop right there. And we're again going to make another cut. So first of all, let's start on, again, the simplest way to do this. Right at the top, we just scroll back to the beginning, and there are these values here: position, scale, rotation, etc. If you just want to zoom in, and that's just all the clip is, it goes from normal perspective to zoomed in the whole clip and then back. That's why we separated the clip into its own thing. We come to the front, and then we just click and hold on the scale number and drag to the right. So it's called scrubbing, as they say in the industry. I don't know why, but we just scroll to the right until it's the exact size we want. And then there's the X and Y values on position. This one goes left and right. Again, scrubbing to the left moves it to the right. Think of it as if you're grabbing the page and moving it left or right, So I'm gonna just use this, and then on this one, up and down, moving to the right moves up, and moving to the down moves left. Moving to the left goes down, rather. So I'm just going to bring this in and scroll there. So this is the kind of effect that it will have if this is what you want. So it's just going to go straight from this up there to that. And this will be a nice example of zooming in and moving art. But if you want it to be a smooth zoom, it gets a little more complicated. So these little arrows here are called reset parameter, where it resets the original value. So as you can see, now it's back to normal when we hit those reset arrows. So let's say we want it to smoothly zoom in. Again, let's do this the most simple way now that we have had this extra condition that we want. We want to zoom in smoothly. So let's click on these little stopwatches. These mean that the values can be changed over time. So instead of having a static or unchangeable value, they can now change over time. So now, as you can see, it made 2 default ones. Make sure you're at the beginning of the clip for this, So that way the values are at the very beginning. That was my mistake. I should have said that earlier. So right from the beginning, it is the default values. And over time, we want it to zoom in. So let's say we hit play up there. And in this, so I want it to show by the time he finishes saying there. So we move the clip, or move the cursor rather, to right here, the little timeline cursor. And then we change the numbers to our bidding, or to our want, to our need. So let's just move this a little to the side, a little bit up. And now you can see it's made 2 new markers, or as they call, I think they are keyframes. Keyframes, that is indeed what they're called. And there they are. So this way you can see, actually, again, you can select these and then say it zooms in too fast. Like watch this, up there. And it zooms in a little too fast. We can stretch it out to make it longer, up there. And this will be a nice example of zoom. And this is just like the start of the animation and the end of the animation. Just like from this point to from this point here to this point here, the photo will be the image of the video will be moving inwards, up there. And this will be a nice example of zoom. So that's how we do that. And say we want to return it by the end, we come down here and we can copy these points because we want it to still be the same here. So that way from here to here, it will stay the same. But from here to the end of the clip, we want to hit the reset arrows to bring it back to its normal value. So essentially think of it as a hill. They actually show them if you look in here. See, this is a hill. We go up the hill, and, this will be a nice example, and then we stay at the top of the hill for a while, and then we come back down. So let's watch that all the way through. Up there, and this will be a nice example of zooming in, staying and moving artifacts across the screen, or rather like components, or and then coming right back down the hill, just like that. Sorry, I was talking over myself. I should turn myself down just a little bit. So let me just do that one more time real quick. So up there, and this we're will be going. A nice example of, whoops. Up there. We're going up the hill, nice example of staying on top of the hill, and moving artifacts across the screen. And then rather, like, we hit the other keyframe and go back down. Components, if that makes sense. And that's how just zooming in works. That is how you zoom in smoothly and how you zoom in statically, like immediately or over time. It does get more advanced with like super smooth. That's what they call Bezier, or Bezier, if you will. And I have trouble figuring it out, so I won't be going into that now. But again, as he also said, and moving artifacts across the screen, or he said moving artifacts. So say I wanted to put a little red circle up there. So I'm going to go into my computer folders, go into quick access and quickly find a circle. Or you know what? I'm going to go with an arrow. So I know, because I know I have that. So I'm putting this picture of a red arrow into my video, right? I just found this off the internet. And I want to say that I'm going up there. So let's do what he says and have an artifact move onto the screen. So we're going to add this. We do this just by dragging it over, and it'll be right on top. And this will be a nice example of zooming in. So I want to show that I'm going straight up there. So I'm going to move this to the front so that way it starts appearing right here. But I don't want it to just like appear abruptly. So again, we're going to use the skills we learned already. So say I want it to, again, the rotation is very similar to the move your mouse to the right, it rotates right, to the left, it rotates left. So I want it to angle downward, and I'm going to scale it down and move it right there. So see, now it's pointing to the spot I want to be. But what if I want it to get here? But I don't want it to just randomly appear like that. I want it to like slide onto the screen. So from the start, we're again going to hit the stopwatches on the rotation as well, because we have rotated it. We're going to select those and move them out here. And then we are going to simply take the position and slide it off screen by scrubbing, and you can see the little tip there, and then just right off the screen. So now this value is set to it being right up here, and it will, over this time, and moving slide right on, just like that. And again, if you do prefer just the, appearing on screen, you can just have the values set like that, or, without this at all. And it will just go just like that. There it is. Across the screen. So, and then if you wanted this to move, say we wanted this to move to the other side of the screen and still be pointing, again, we use the same strategy. So it starts there, and we want it to move to the other side. We just move the cursor down the line and then change the value. So I change it to point this way, or say I wanted to point, whoops. I reset that. I'm gonna go back to this value, copy 62, go back. Oh no, this is, okay. So this is 56. I'm gonna come over here, and say I want to jump. Also, very important thing, say I want to jump to each keyframe. You can't just change it by selecting them. You use these arrows. So previous keyframe, and now we're on top of it. When there is a blue highlight, that means you are on top of a keyframe that you are editing. Otherwise, if I just start changing values, it will create a new keyframe, and I'm just going to delete that because we don't want it to be that size. So we're going to hop to these keyframes. You can see they're highlighted, and I'm going to make this 52. Was it? I think the scale was 52. It was 56. Go back, 56. There we go. And then I'm just going to change the position to be down here, and I'm going to change the rotation to be pointing up there. And again, let's watch this through. In and moving artifacts across the screen, or rather, very simple stuff. This is just, what you need to know to move stuff across the screen. And say, actually from the start, we wanted to add some text, right? So we start off like, how's it going, everybody? And again, actually, I'm going to do a little thing here and cut off the silence on the front. Actually, no, I'll leave it in. And we're gonna click the text tool. We're just getting to text here, and just click anywhere on the screen. And I'm gonna type out, this is a tutorial. Example. Oh, autosave. And then another thing, frustrating as hell. If you, when editing text, if you just change stuff, so I center it, centering will work, but I like change text size, I change text color, I do all this stuff, change the wide Latin, I change it to the wide Latin font. Notice it's not changing. The issue is you have to have all the text selected. As you can see, it went back to its original thing. So I'm gonna hit Control A while selected on the text to select all of it. And I'm going to use my favorite Arial rounded bold. And a good way to have your text stand out, notice it's just white, and I'll say move it over here. It is a little hard to read. So you notice it's like Minecraft is in the background. It's really hard to read, while over the background it is a lot more easy, but when it's here it's hard. So there's a very simple answer for this. Again, this is something I do all the time. Well, one thing you could do is color it black, but again, it's still hard to see. But I'm gonna keep this white, but we're gonna use this called stroke. Stroke is actually an outline. Outlines are extremely important. I believe they can be applied to multiple things, but I mainly use them for text. So again, we're going to select all, and then change the stroke color to black, and this will create an outline. And this number here is how many pixels that the outline is. So I'm gonna bring it up, and you can slide it, and you can see you can make it absurdly big, and it'll get all glitchy. So I say somewhere around 15 is good. And now you can see that there's an outline around it. It's easily readable. So helpful for making videos. And again, text is the same way. You can move it around as you please, but it is different. So let's say I have this text and it goes off the screen like that, right? I type it out and it just goes off the screen, and I'm like, oh, I'll just use this to move it on. And it's not gonna happen. It is going to be still off the screen because this is weird. The thing is, while there is one layer here, this is called a layer, you can put multiple things of text on the same layer. So even though there are 3 different texts, I can move them all around. So the way to solve this issue is to scroll down, and each form of text has its own set of settings. So let's say I go to the hello one, and this will be right here. As you can see, it says text in parentheses hello, and I can change its individual color. I can come here to hi there and change this individual color, and now they're different colors. And again, they notice that they all have their own position, scale, rotation, opacity. So if I wanted to fix this issue, I would come to the top one right here that says text parentheses. This is a tutorial example, and adjust this position value and just scroll it back on screen. This one, if there's multiple text on screen, you're not going to want to mess with this, unless everything's on the screen. So like when I started this text was all on the screen, so I can just do this whatever I want. But it's best to not really mess with this and mess with these values instead. So let's get rid of this and that. That way it's only this. We put some text here, and see, as you can see, all of it's on the screen. This is an example where you can just, use this value up here. I'm just gonna have this come up here. Whoa, way too high. And again, off the screen. Play for a few seconds. How's it going, everybody? And then pause. Bring it in. Pause for a while longer. Exploding jellyfish. Make another keyframe. Here to play Minecraft. Again. Or if you want to just skip to the end and go back one frame with the left arrow key, if you scrub to the end of a clip, it will go one frame off of it. As you can see, it is right on the end afterwards. So it is considered gone. So when you scrub to the end, just hit left one frame and it's back. And then I'm going to just slide it back off. So that way we have an effect like this. How's it going, everybody? This is a tutorial example. Here to play Minecraft. Slides back out for an example. Just like that. So very useful stuff. Text is really fun in this. But let's continue from where we were. Moving artifacts across the screen, or rather like components or scene components, if that makes sense. Moving them around the screen. And this can be applied to other objects as well. We'll be showing an example of that right now. And what did I just say? We'll be showing be applied to other objects as well. Oh yeah, we went over this. We went over the arrow right now. And just, I want to go up there, we're going that way. And again, let's do that again. Let's just do a quick zoom in just to practice. Just, I want to go up there. I want to go up there. So I want to go up there. And IO, flip over it, and then we're just gonna, zoom in. I want to go up there, we're going that. Something else that is a very helpful tool here, say I wanted to focus on one thing in the shot. So we're running along here. Well. Say I want to keep an eye on this tree right here, right? It is pretty easy to do, but it's hard to do. So it's something I experimented with when I started. We're going to come to the beginning of this clip and click the position, and we're going to scale it in, but we're not going to make it dynamic. It's going to stay at this scale. Let's do 275. And we're just going to focus it on that tree. Just center the tree in the screen. And then notice, as we hit play, he's going to look away from it all around. So we're going to go in carefully, right? We're going to go in, and we're going to just spam. And notice he first goes off to the right. So now that he's moved to the right, all we do, recenter it. Just use the values to bring it back to the center. Keep going. And you have to make sure you move until the move is done. So like, say he's halfway through looking here, right? So he's like starting to look over here. But if I did that halfway through, it would become all jittery. So wait for the movement to be done. So as you can see, he's looking here, and then he looks to the lower left, but I keep going until he has stopped moving, or until the direction changes. See, he starts going up. We're going to go straight to the bottom here. And again, recenter like that. And then he's going to look up to the upper left, and notice he stops right there. So again, recenter. Moving them around the screen. And as you can see right there, he did a slow movement from here. I'm just going to keep it in the center. And then he moves it over to there. And again, doing this at too fine can cause it to jiggle around. As you can see, around the screen, it jiggles around a little bit. Moving them around the screen, and this can be but it is moving. It's something you have to practice. I know it's only something I've done a couple times. You can see it's a little dirty, but you can see with this longer wide shot, you can see this is the center of the screen, but we're still staying focused on the tree. This can be applied to really good stuff. So yeah, that kind of stuff is really fun to do as well. You know, I've used that in videos such as this, which I'm not exactly proud of, but you know, that was high school days. I want to go up there. You know, we're going that way, and that's just a little example of how to zoom in on things. Another thing that you'll need to know. I think you lost it, guys. I forgot. Yep. So this would be a great example of cutting out things that I forget. A very useful tool when editing, because when you forget things, you can just say it again and delete what you failed. And I totally don't do that all the time. But we're just gonna head up here. Okay, so as you said, I just totally, you know, messed up what I was saying. So like I was supposed to be like, next we're gonna figure out how to do this. But again, this is something that happens all the time in YouTube videos, is I forget what I'm saying and I go back. But that's just a little example of how to zoom in on things. So then we come here, IO apostrophe to cut. I forgot. So then we come all the way through here and say I just want to skip to the next part where I'm doing something. There's a lot of silence here. I forgot this is hardcore. And then IO, cut. I'm gonna remove all this stuff in between. And bam, we have a cut just like that. All right, this place seems about good. I think this, see, now we just cut out all the dumb stuff that I just did. And none were the wiser, you know? This is a nice place for me to oh, we're fine. We're fine. Whoa, okay. Whoa, calm down there. So we need to get up there. Oh. Dude, I'm trying to kill myself in comedic effect. Oh no! All right. Thank you guys for watching. What an epic playthrough. Really amazing. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay, as you can see, I said bye, and there's still a little bit of left. Peace out, if you will. So say I want to get rid of the peace out. So I can just like scroll that back here. So there. Now I have a video. This is my edited video. And again, I'm using left alt and the scroll wheel to scroll in and out. Or you can use the backslash key above the enter key, below the backspace key. Again, while selected here, it will essentially scale the entire timeline to be visible. And you know, here it is. Very simple stuff. This is very basic. And again, going into a little more detail, notice that I've been very quiet, or I've just been adjusting the volume in my my mixer, my recording software. But say I want myself to be louder. I could come into this clip right here where, say, this clip I'm being a little quiet. Those 21 pieces of wood. And I want to be a little louder. So I can go back to the start, and by default, the audio effects level is always dynamic. As you can see, the stopwatch is on, and the level parameter is what you're going to change. This is essentially the volume meter. You can bring it down, say like I go down to -10. All right, we got ourselves 21 pieces of wood. So he's very quiet. Or I can go back, and when raising the volume of a clip, you can only go to +6, which is kind of sucky. So it's usually best to record at a higher volume, because you can always turn it down as much as you want. But you shouldn't record at a lower volume, because you can only turn it up +6. So it's louder. All right, we got ourselves 21 pieces of wood, which is better, but it's not like, say I wanted to be like I was whispering or something and I really wanted you to hear it. It's going to be hard to hear, because, you know, we can't go above +6. So that's just, again, and this is affected the same way as animations do. I can have the volume go from 0, I can go from -200, which is, you know, silent, and then wait, and then go up to 0. So as you can see, it fades in. All right, we got ourselves 20. Or we can just fade it across like this. All right, we got ourselves 21 pieces of wood. As you can see, I was quiet and it increased volume. It's just like, you know, position and scale. These can all be animated over time. Again, extremely useful stuff. And if for some reason you wanted to, you could balance the sounds from left to right ear. So we would just set this. I want to go. Now it's all in the left ear, and then we go all the way to +100. All right, we got ourselves 21 pieces of wood. And now it's all in the right ear. And I don't usually mess with that. I just leave it at a good old 0. And I want just to keep it in the center. But yeah, I think that's just about everything. The next thing you need to know is how to export your video. So again, one thing you're gonna want to know is make sure that this box is outlined. Say if I'm over here and I'm selecting this and go to File and Export, it will try to export this video or a clip. Say if I go like this and then I try and export, it will try and export just those few seconds. As you can see, it's right here. It's just that cut. But I want to take the whole thing. So, excuse me. I'm just gonna come over here, IO, there we go. Just make a cut and it makes it disappear. So the entire thing, just by clicking this blue square around the edges, all this, just having this entire box highlighted, File, Export Media. And this is where you're gonna be able to change your settings. For YouTube videos, H.264, and then I come in here and I scroll all the way down. There's a lot of stuff you can go up to, and you can see they have presets for YouTube, and I always do 720p HD, and that sets the aspect ratio. As you can see, it's 1280 by 720, and then make sure export video and audio is set, and then you can click the output name, example video, hit save, and then the only thing to do now is hit export, and just like that, your video is being sent out. And that was only a couple minutes, so this should be pretty quick, but I'm going to practice some of the skills I've shown you here today to speed this up. I'm sorry, I just canceled that. How could I possibly forget? I was just sitting here thinking, I never covered audio. I did vaguely, but say I wanted to add music. Again, very simple stuff. I'm going to go into my audio folder here and find, let's say, all right, here we go. I have the credit scene from Pokemon Black and White. For some reason, we just want to make this emotional. So again, that's going to load in, and this is just going to be how it shows up. And say I want to start from when it gets good. So we listen. So say I want to start from here. Again, I can use I and O. I'm just going to press I. So that just goes from here to the end of the song. And just like the video from before, I can grab this. Oh, another thing. Sorry, just a little side tangent real quick. I never showed you. If you just want to grab the video, you can click and drag from here. As you can see, it's just the video track. Or if you just want the audio, drag audio only, and it's just the audio tracks. So in this case, it's just audio, so I can drag the audio track. And then I'm bringing it down here. Audio will always be in green. As you can see, it goes way longer than it needs to be, so I'm just going to cut it down to size. And if we play... How's it going, everybody? Obviously, way too loud. So we click on it and go into effect controls. Very simple. It's just the volume segment of these. You see it's all down there, audio effects. And we just scroll to the top. And usually a good point, especially with music this loud, is usually -18. How's it going, everybody? This is Exploding Jellyfish here to play Mine. And again, this isn't a flat number you need to use. You can adjust it, so still it's a little loud. So I'm just gonna go to -22. How's it going, everybody? This is Exploding Jellyfish here to play Minecraft. Even then, still a little much. So I'm just gonna go down to 25 and then just skip ahead to see how it goes. What do you you see, now it sounds good. What do you think we should do? Oh, hardcore. Hardcore? Yeah. So as you can see, it's just like, it sounds a lot better now. It's lower volume, and this goes under the other tracks. And you can have as many as you like. So sorry, I almost missed that, but let's continue with our export. Again, coming in here, scrolling down, YouTube 720. Actually, for the case of this video, just to make things a little faster, I'm going to make it low quality. 480p SD, Minecraft example, enter, export. And just like that, when it's done, it will close. And if we go over to the folder where it was recorded, I'm just going to go to quick access here. You can see it is right here. open file location. And there we have Minecraft example. And we click on that.
How's it going, everybody?
And we have the completed video. That is the simple, absolute bare bones you need to know about, I almost said Unreal Engine. I've been using that way too much. Adobe Premiere Pro. This is 2017, but most of these should apply to all of them. Even the latest ones, 2022. You can just use these same hotkeys, the same techniques that I've been using. If anything, just they've moved around a couple things. I don't know, honestly, but usually it should be the same setup. The effect controls up here, the viewport right here, the project stuff down here, and the timeline in the lower right. And it's just, it's the same thing, just, on a newer program. And it's the same hotkeys, it's the same functions. They just added new stuff, like new features, new effects, and that loud ass car revving by in the background because their is tiny. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Go out there and make some great stuff. I can't wait to see what you guys make. Have a great night. Laters, bro.